Hi, welcome back to another episode of Call FPV. So in my last video I was talking about how I was going to actually build the quad itself. Now, it was a very interesting build and I have done a lot of work on it. In actual fact, I think I've got a bit too obsessive with some elements of it. So what I wanted to do is just talk to you about a few things that I changed from my previous build criteria and rationale of what I wanted to do. So the kit that comes from Flight Test is very well put together. I haven't got any main issues with it, just a few teething problems here and there that I've obviously modified and overcome, but mainly it's about the 3D parts for me. So I'm filming this on my Android phone, but I would have done it with my GoPro, and what I've done is I've actually 3D printed myself an actual 3D case for it, which is downloadable from Shapebrace from Blackbox RC. But as you can see at the same time, what I've also done here is I've actually managed to put a 3D printed wedge to give me a 10-degree incline for when I'm flying, and also I've made this front mounted camera mount for my 600 TVL camera, and what it can allow me to do is I've also put markings on the sides here to give me 10 degrees, 20 and 30 degree increments, so I can see, depending on how aggressively I want to fly, how I can modify that. I did have a question on the previous video that I did asking about what I would recommend or what I'm thinking about doing about the FPV gear. So what I've done is I've made a case here which can house my Immersion RC transmitter. So obviously in the UK we're 25 milliwatts, so hence why the actual extension, SMA extension, comes out in the middle here. And what I did have it mounted on the other side, but I moved it because I wanted to have my battery LiPo alarm on this side here, purely because I could turn the batteries upside down so I get the cables around here and not coming into play with any of the blades themselves. Let's talk about blades. What I did was I initially went for a 50-45 tri-blade, which I thought would be okay, but obviously for a smaller quad, as I said in the previous video, this is actually a slightly bigger dimension than a normal 250 quad or a 180. This is quite big. It's more like a 310, 320 build. So I've gone for a 60-45 prop. And these work really nice, and I'm really happy with the power that they give me, especially with the red bottoms. I've only used the 3S LiPo on here at the moment, just really to sort of get used to it and what have you. I'm having so much fun, otherwise I would have done this video a long time ago. What I've also done is I've actually made some feet here as well to give me some sort of landing platforms and some end caps as well at the same time. But more importantly, I've actually given my red bottoms a bit of protection on these machine guards. So yeah, I'm really happy with what I've done, what I've printed as well. I've also put some grip tape on there just to stop the LiPo coming out, because by me turning the battery over, I was flying it one time and the battery actually came away. But I've upgraded the standard Flight Test battery straps for these Lumineer ones, which I find much better. And also I got them for I think it was about $6.99 for a set of 3, and I used the third one on the GoPro to hold that for me. So I'm getting about, with this current weight, about 6 to 7 minutes flight time, depending on how aggressive you can be, sort of thing. With the transmission as well, it's very good. I'm getting a lot of good power, good responsive rate as well at the same time. So I really am happy with this. Just to show you underneath as well. I've used some more of that grip tape just on the feet here, just to give it a bit more grip. What I wanted to mention on this video was about the actual radio combination with the brain itself from Graupner, and the Graupner itself with the GR18. It works well, very well, and I've not got a problem with that, but it's getting it to work, and that for me was a big problem. I had to buy different leads for the radio and for the brain to basically put the Multicopter software on them. So in the UK, I had an option of buying it from Flight Test, of buying the radio and the GR18 as the combo deal, which worked out after shipping and so on, roughly about the same price as what they were separate if I bought them from the UK. So I bought the radio separately from the GR18, and because they weren't part of the combo from Flight Test, for example, they didn't come with the Multicopter software to work with both. Only came with the aeroplane normal RC or helicopter software. So what I did was I updated the software on the Graupner MZ12, which was very, very straightforward. And then what I did was I actually updated the software on the GR18. Now, that was a bit more technical in the sense that I went to the www.graupner.de website, the actual German website, and everything was in German, and I couldn't get the interface to work properly. And then I had a bit of a brainwave, and I thought, right, well, let's go to the American website, and I found the English version, and from then on, everything went pretty straightforward. And I set up all the functions from the radio, with the leveling, with the tilting and everything else, to get my orientation right for the actual Graupner GR18 setup, which a few people I think on forums are having a bit of issues to do. Once I'd done that and I put it up in the air, it was absolutely brilliant. One other thing as well, I am using one-shot ESC, little B 30 amp ESCs on here. What I was finding was that when I initially put the software on the GR18 and I was doing the throttle, what was happening was I was only getting one motor to spool up slightly, and then almost at full throttle, all of a sudden the other three were spooling up. So what happened was I needed to go into the interface with the GR18 and I needed to calibrate the ESCs. Once I calibrated the ESCs, pretty much as soon as I gave it any throttle at all four came on, and it was absolutely spot on. I'm really happy with this build. I can't compliment the way it feels, and for a training setup, it's brilliant. So as I said in my initial video, I wanted people in the UK to buy these parts that are recommended on videos. Can we source them from the UK? Yes, we can. Does it work for us in the UK? Is it as easy as what these people are saying on flight test videos and stuff like that? And I think the answer would be, with a bit of nous and a little bit of let's just find out and spend some money sort of thing, I would say yes. So thumbs up there. I'm really happy with it. Another thing as well, I'm probably going to get bombarded with messages from a lot of people about these 3D printed parts, and my biggest thing is I've designed all of these 3D printed parts apart from the actual GoPro housing. Now if anyone wants to get hold of these, I'll put my email address on the link on the video. Please give me a shout, contact me. Maybe I can sort some prices out or whatever, and if I get enough interest, do a couple of batch orders or something for a good price. At the moment I've printed these at 40% infill, so they're not 100% infill, so they're not the finished products of what you probably would get if I was going to be printing them for you, sort of thing. But it's something to bear in mind. One thing I haven't got around to is I wanted to use the original LiPo case because it was just easier for me to do, but I will design something if you wanted to have the red and black setup. And when this is in the air, the red and the black combination, including the propellers as well, that really does look absolutely fantastic. I'm so happy with it. I can't compliment Flight Test enough on the design, and the actual luminaire board in there as well for me to do all my connections was brilliant. What I might do soon is, if people want this as well, is actually on the feet themselves, I'm quite inclined to put a little bit of a tilt, a wedged foot itself to get angle on the motors, because what I have been finding, if I crashed or landed, because the motors are mounted on the aluminium CNC mounts and they are on a circular boom, they do spin and move. So what I want to try and do is, if I was to use some angled motor mounts when it landed, maybe that might stop that, I don't know. But for those of you who are more aggressive and things like that, that might help your flying. So I'm definitely going to look at doing something like that soon. And also do different wedges for the GoPro to increase the 20 or 30 degree mount. So if you wanted me to do those for you, that's not a problem as well. I'm looking forward to hearing back on your feedback as well, what I've done, if anyone would have done anything differently. I really, really want to hear that, because that's really vital to making this build 100% complete for me. It's almost there, it's just a few more things I would like to have a go at. So please just get in contact with me, and I'll speak to you all soon. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like.